Let's see if I can get another strike from YouTube here. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today let's take a look at the LooseCollector Executive Replicas Coffin Comics Legacy Series Lady Death. Now this review may be shorter than some of my others because I've already taken a look at a test shot of this figure. So what I basically have now is a painted version of this, but I also now have the weapons that I didn't have before. So I'm still excited to look at this. And I say shorter, it may be just as long because I can always find things to talk about when it comes to action figures. Just ramble on and on and on like I'm doing right now. Looking at the package, it is very clean. It is minimalistic, but it fits for this character, I think. Just the black with the striking red and whites against it. Lady Death, Coffin Comics, big window. You see most of what you get in there. Ooh, look at the hellfire behind her. On the side, some comic art of the character. On the back, pretty promotional shots, Lady Death, bio, some of the features, including bad attitude. And then the Legacy series will carry on with Hell Witch, which we've seen. We've also seen La Muerta, and then I can't wait to see Chaotica and Lady Satanis. On the other side, more comic art of Lady Death on top, the Lady Death logo, Legacy series, choking hazard, don't put them in your mouth. On the bottom, just a UPC, made in China, very clean. But let's get this open. See what's going on here. You can even see the flame graphic poking through the bottom. Another blister on top to protect it. That's cool. Does the fire thing? Nope, it's the box itself, but I like that. I was about to comment how there was no tape over the hands or the weapons to hold them in, but then, of course, I just now talked about it. This was holding everything in. Oh, look at that. LooseCollector's got it going on. He didn't make a very small hole where you have to tear the cape through the blister. There is more than enough space right there. Having the test shot before, I knew the sculpt was going to be awesome, but now getting a finished factory piece with all the paint on top of it, this is my Lady Death figure. No doubt about it now. The proportions fit the comic art perfectly. The long, billowing, almost supernatural hairstyle. The body proportions, muscular, toned, very, again, comic booky. You notice all the little skulls in the costume. It just stands out, especially now that they're gold. Okay, with the head out of frame, it's a bit generic, but that's the design itself. You can still look at this with the paints, with the whites and the blues and the blacks, and say, that's Lady Death. Now, bringing the test shot back in, because of the layout of Lady Death's costume, LooseCollector was able to plan ahead and cast some of the base plastics in the color that it needed to be. And at the arms even worked where the sleeve thing ended, so there's no paint slop, there's nothing there. But even in places where it didn't work, like down here on the legs, the black plastic stops here, it goes to here, but you cannot tell where the plastic ends and where the paint begins. All the lines of the costume are painted very, very nice. You may be able to see a little bit of blur here and there. The blacks, the golds, just very nicely done. There does seem to be a slight yellowness to the shoulders compared to the rest of the body. I don't know if that's a different plastic used, or I think they're both cast in white plastic. There's no odd colors. It's more noticeable on the camera in person though. And then of course out of the blinding light too, it does blend a little bit better in natural setting. There may be another coat of paint on top or different plastic or something. Oh, it looks almost natural. Well, considering it's a bright white skin tone. There's almost a translucency to it. And the blue shading both on the skin tones and on the black parts of the costume aren't quite as nice as the prototype. But that's what happens when you go from a hand-painted piece to a factory offering. It becomes a little bit more machined. It may be slightly heavy up here. For the most part, it is beautiful. This is what I wanted. Even the red paint to the fingernails is fairly nice, and that ties up to the lipstick. This is what I imagined. Every now and then when I turn it, I think, oh man, the eyeliner inside the eye is slopped up. That's actually shadow from the nose, the cheeks, the brow. If you turn it right into the direct light, you can see that is clean. Then the body shading blue is brought up here for some eyeshadow, which again ties the whole piece together. It just works really, really well. But to change things up a bit, the shadow in the hair is actually a gray, so it stands out slightly like a different material. It's subtle. You think, oh, there's something going on here. What is it? Oh, it's that. and I appreciate that kind of work. But because of these body proportions and this big crazy heavy hair sticking off the back, on top of, well, literally, the shoes being a bit small, high heels, it's not super hard to find that balance point to have her standing. There is a slight tilt forward. Let's see if we can straighten her up just a little bit. There you go. See, it's not bad. It's just very, you get a little further back, the hair's going to take over. I also thought I had a chip right there, but it was just like a flick or something. It wiped right off. Going over articulation, there is a ball joint going up into the head with a pin going down into the neck. In fact, this is meant to pop off. You can see it rotates around. But you're not going to get any up. That was never in question. You can get a little shift back, and it barely. There's just too much hair. She can look down, but look at the tail. Swivel as far as the hair can go. Yes, you can bring it up, bring it around. Hinge at the shoulder comes up past 90, rotates around. Swivel at the bicep, beautifully hidden within the costume. Single elbow comes up and swivels. Swivel at the wrist and then hinge. Ball joint, well, I actually think it's a dumbbell joint in the mid-torso. Not a lot of movement because of the sculpt itself. Can kind of here, hula hoop, twist. Ball joint coming out to the hip, can come up to 90. Back, out. Not bad, better than some Spider-Mans I've seen. Swivel at the thigh, but down at the knee where it is roundest, and that's the same thing with the bicep. LooseCollector picked a spot where it wouldn't break the sculpt when you turned it. Plus it's more hidden inside the black without breaking up the white or this garter coming down. Double knee, oh, I forgot to point out, pinless knees, pinless elbows. Very nice. Coming up, bow, 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 bow. Easy. Hinge at the ankle goes back, goes way forward, and then forward facing pin as far as it can go. Well, it's not bad actually. For accessories, Lady Death in the package comes with 2 relaxed hands, but then she also comes with 2 grip hands. And for that, easy enough to pop out. Put the other one in, and it is side-to-side hinge on a weapon-holding hand. She has some nice weapons to hold, like this badass sword. Of course, there's a skull right in the middle with some bat wings coming around it up to the grip, and then another skull. Surprise! The bronze color is very, very nice, very metallic, and it even extends all the way up the center of the blade. With that, goes right in. Not a problem at all. But then she also comes with this scythe. You gotta think a character named Lady Death is gonna have a scythe. This could have been just cast in brown and, well, actually I don't know what the base color plastic is, but there is brown to the wood parts with some shading with a wash to bring out the woody detail. And that's the same for the grips, except in gray with a black wash. And then up at the blade, that same silver color we saw on the sword, and another skull. To get her hand on that, you have to kind of flex it open, but that's not a big problem. That just goes in there, pop it, the hand closes back around it and grips. And then finally comes with a cape. We're not used to seeing this much paint detail when it comes to back ornaments. There's the red on the inside, but darker shading running down to the grooves. And then on the outside, the same black from her costume, again with the blue. For that, I already showed you can pop the head off. It is a peg going down into the neck. Oh, that's also where he hid the copyright information and everything. With this on, it's not sticking out at you somewhere like white text down here or on the bottom of the foot. Getting the neck back in, the ball likes to let it move around as you're trying to get in there. So it runs away from you a little bit. In fact, come here. But you want to just get it lined up as best you can and push down. I do hate to say the cape adds even more weight to the back. So if you have her standing straight up and down, you're going to have to do just a slight more lean forward. But still can compensate with some arc back with the torso joint, some arms forward. That still works. Fantastic. I've had her arm backwards for a bit. So if you're about to comment, her elbow's on the wrong side, I fixed it. Lady Death stands at about 6.5 inches to the top of her hair, and I'm guessing to the top of her actual head is about 6 3/16, which is a little big if you're wanting to slip her into your Marvel Legends display, but she's a big, larger-than-life character. I'm okay with this, and I probably should have looked at her actual stats before I looked. She's also quite tall compared to some MCU Marvel Legends figures. She fits right in with some Fortnite, though. Here she is with the TB League Vampirella. Admittedly is a little small. But to give you a general idea, here is the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Stormtrooper and Marvel Legends Black Panther. So at the end of the day, I've wanted a Lady Death in my collection for a while. Now I have a fantastic Lady Death in my collection that I'm going to keep for quite a while. It is hindered in places, but that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to female figures, I think. Especially one with comic book proportions. And it's also in our brain that, oh, male torso, we can cut it all up, put articulation here, 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 ab crunch, back, tilt, tilt, tilt. But with the female one, we don't want to break up the torso, I guess. So it's only in the naturally hidden spots. That's not to say she can't get into action poses, because she can do that too. But for me, standing there looking awesome, yeah, that's what I was hoping for. I did notice she was sold out on the Coffin Comics site, at least all the pre-orders, so it may be a bit harder to get her at this point. You might check executivereplicas.com, see if she's still available there. Also, these were supposed to be shipping by now, but you know how the world is right now with the winter storms and everything going on. Shipping routes have slowed a bit, so it's hard to gauge when stuff is actually going to get to the warehouse, get processed, get shipped out. It should be soon though. If you pre-ordered this, I'm excited for you to get this in hand, because yeah, it's just so 90s that it needs to be on the shelf somewhere. If you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. I was going to put the cape on for this final shot. I didn't. Not because it was going to make her back heavy or something like that. It's something about the silhouette this cuts like this. Or this adds a lot more red than I would personally prefer. I like it, but I like just the hint of red at the lips and fingernails against the stark white and the dark black here.